Leg cramps can hit like a bolt of lightning, often in the middle of the night, yanking you out of sleep with intense, stabbing pain. These spasms, most commonly in the calves but also in the feet and thighs, are more than just annoying. They can be absolutely debilitating, especially when they strike repeatedly. In the United States, these cramps are one of the top complaints patients report to their primary care physicians, especially people over 50. From Canada to the United Kingdom and across Australia, the same frustration is echoed. Why do my legs cramp so badly, and what can I do about it? This is where vitamins play a much bigger role than most people realize. Whether it's from dehydration, poor circulation, or an electrolyte imbalance, the right vitamins can make a difference, a huge difference. This script reveals the top 10 vitamins that can help prevent leg cramps, with deep detail and no fluff. Magnesium is the most critical starting point and often the most overlooked. Thousands of Americans suffering nightly leg cramps have no idea that their magnesium levels are borderline deficient. This mineral is essential for neuromuscular transmission and muscle relaxation. In the United States, where diets high in processed food dominate, magnesium deficiency is extremely common. It's even worse among older adults and people taking certain medications like diuretics, proton pump inhibitors, and some antibiotics. These drugs deplete magnesium stores rapidly, and the result? Cramping, twitching, restlessness. Magnesium supports ATP production, your body's energy molecule, which fuels muscle contractions and prevents spasms. Without enough, the muscles can contract but won't relax properly. That leads directly to cramping. A real case from a clinic in California involved a 68-year-old woman who had nightly cramps so severe she couldn't sleep. After magnesium glycinate supplementation, her cramps were gone in under 2 weeks. Foods like pumpkin seeds, almonds, spinach, and black beans are magnesium-rich. But most people need a supplement, especially in the United States, where soil depletion has made even whole foods less nutritious. Vitamin D is next, and it's critical to talk about because it controls calcium absorption and muscle function. In many parts of the United States and Canada, especially during winter, vitamin D deficiency is epidemic. What people don't understand is that vitamin D also affects magnesium status indirectly. Without it, your muscles can't use calcium or magnesium properly. In a randomized study of older adults in the United Kingdom, those with the lowest vitamin D levels had double the rate of leg cramps at night compared to those with adequate levels. People report intense pain at night and stiffness in the morning, both of which can be strongly tied to low vitamin D levels. Vitamin D also affects nerve health, and damaged or irritated nerves can misfire, causing spasms in the legs and feet. That pins and needles sensation in the calves? Often it's the body screaming for vitamin D. It's essential to test levels, especially if you're in a northern state or country with limited sun exposure. 4,000 IU daily is commonly needed, but some may need more, depending on lab tests. Potassium must be emphasized, not only because it helps with fluid balance, but because it's absolutely essential for muscle contraction and nerve signaling. The standard American diet, full of sodium and low in fresh fruits and vegetables, has led to a silent potassium crisis. In fact, fewer than 2% of Americans consume the recommended daily intake. And yet potassium works closely with sodium to maintain muscle cell function. Without enough potassium, muscles become overly excitable, triggering painful cramps. A 42-year-old man from Texas reported severe cramps during his marathon training. He was drinking plenty of water and even taking salt tablets, but still experienced painful calf cramps during and after long runs. Blood tests showed his potassium was at the lower end of normal. He began eating bananas, sweet potatoes, coconut water, and avocados daily. Within 2 weeks, the cramps reduced by over 80%. In Australia, where outdoor activity is high and dehydration is common in summer, low potassium is a known risk factor for leg cramps. The key is to eat potassium-rich foods, and, if needed, take potassium citrate under medical supervision. Calcium is often linked with bone health, but its role in muscle function is just as important. Calcium ions are responsible for triggering muscle contractions, and an imbalance between calcium and magnesium can cause abnormal nerve firing and muscle tension. The problem? Many people in the United States are taking calcium supplements without understanding that without magnesium and vitamin D, calcium doesn't get absorbed correctly. It builds up in the blood and causes other problems like vascular calcification or kidney stones. But a real deficiency in calcium, especially in older adults, pregnant women, or those with parathyroid issues, can result in muscle twitching, spasms, and cramps. People feel tingling in their legs, especially at night, and sometimes even facial twitching. In clinical practice, calcium gluconate is used to relieve tetany, a severe form of cramping. Dairy products, leafy greens, sardines, and fortified plant milks are all good sources. But absorption matters. The best forms are calcium citrate and calcium malate, which are easier on the stomach and don't require high stomach acid to be absorbed. Vitamin B1, thiamine, plays a critical role in nerve conduction. Thiamine deficiency is not rare in the United States, especially in people with high sugar intake, alcohol use, and digestive disorders. When thiamine levels fall, the nerves that signal muscles become irritated or delayed in firing, leading to cramping, tingling, and weakness. A nurse from Florida, who had developed terrible lower leg cramps during her night shifts, finally discovered her thiamine levels were low due to poor diet and energy drinks. After taking benfotiamine, a fat-soluble version of B1, her cramps reduced dramatically in under a week. In cases of neuropathy, especially in diabetes, thiamine can be a game changer. It's often combined with B6 and B12 in formulations aimed at nerve health. Deficiency symptoms may also include burning feet, heaviness in the legs, and unexplained fatigue. B1 is found in pork, sunflower seeds, peas, and fortified cereals, but again, poor absorption and high-sugar diets block it from doing its job. Vitamin B6 is involved in neurotransmitter synthesis, especially the conversion of tryptophan to serotonin, which also plays a role in muscle tone and nerve relaxation. B6 deficiency can mimic magnesium deficiency, with cramps, twitching, and shooting pains in the limbs. Some research out of Canada has shown that women with PMS-related leg cramps often respond very well to B6, but too much synthetic B6, especially pyridoxine hydrochloride, can cause neuropathy, making it worse. The right form, P5P or pyridoxal 5-phosphate, is safer and more bioavailable. A man in his early 50s from New York had chronic leg cramps during his sleep that disrupted his work schedule. He was taking magnesium already, but not improving. Once B6 was added in the active form, the cramps almost vanished within days. Vitamin B6 is found in turkey, bananas, chickpeas, and potatoes, but once again, the bioavailability from diet alone is often not enough, especially in people taking medications like birth control pills or antidepressants that deplete B6. Vitamin B12 is vital for the maintenance of the myelin sheath that surrounds nerves, and a deficiency can lead to misfiring of nerve signals. This is a key cause of nocturnal leg cramps in people over 60 in the United States, where B12 absorption drops sharply with age. In Australia, people following vegan diets are at high risk for B12 deficiency, and many complain of cramping, tingling, and electric shock sensations in their legs. Sublingual methylcobalamin is often the preferred supplement form, and in severe cases, B12 injections may be needed. One case in a Chicago health center described a man who could not sleep more than 3 hours at night due to violent cramps in both calves. He was later diagnosed with pernicious anemia, an autoimmune condition that blocks B12 absorption. With weekly injections, his symptoms reversed in less than a month. B12 is found in meat, fish, dairy, and eggs, but those with gut issues like Crohn's or celiac may need to supplement even with a good diet. Vitamin E, especially in the form of tocotrienols, has shown to improve circulation and reduce oxidative stress in muscle tissue. Poor circulation is a common cause of leg cramps, especially in smokers, diabetics, and those with cardiovascular issues. A study conducted in Canada found that individuals with peripheral artery disease experienced significant leg pain relief with vitamin E supplementation. It works by improving blood vessel flexibility and enhancing oxygen delivery to muscles. People have described a warm, tingling relief after weeks of consistent use, often in tandem with other nutrients. It also protects the cell membranes of nerves and muscles, preventing breakdown under stress. Good sources include sunflower seeds, almonds, spinach, and avocado, but most people do better with a mixed tocopherol-tocotrienol blend in supplement form. Vitamin E also supports the repair of damaged muscle fibers, making it crucial for people who do heavy physical labor or intense workouts. The remaining vitamins, B2, riboflavin, and B3, niacin, also contribute to nerve health and vascular dilation. B2 deficiency can cause nerve dysfunction and muscle fatigue, while niacin helps expand blood vessels and improve blood flow to the extremities. People experiencing leg cramps after walking or during sleep often have undiagnosed issues with circulation, which niacin helps address. However, taking niacin can cause flushing, a red, warm sensation, which is harmless but uncomfortable. Despite that, some people report their leg cramps reduced significantly after just a few weeks of niacin supplementation. These vitamins are often included in B-complex supplements, but doses must be tailored individually. In the United States, leg cramps are not just a passing discomfort. They often signal deeper deficiencies, and one major factor being completely ignored in most cases is chronic stress. Stress destroys vitamin stores at a faster rate than people realize, especially B vitamins and magnesium. This is a crucial piece in the leg cramp puzzle. When you're under constant pressure, whether it's from work, financial issues, or health problems, your adrenal glands demand more nutrients to keep up with cortisol production. That means less magnesium and B6 available for muscle relaxation. It's no coincidence that so many people in high-stress jobs across the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom suffer from nightly cramps or sudden spasms after long days. People from these countries report feeling wired but tired, restless legs, and sharp jabs of pain that seem to come out of nowhere. A 45-year-old executive in New Jersey was experiencing chronic middle-of-the-night calf cramps that no supplement helped, until she started working on stress reduction and increasing her B-complex intake twice daily. Within 10 days, the cramps stopped entirely. Stress also affects magnesium excretion through the kidneys. That's right. If you're constantly in fight-or-flight mode, you're urinating out the very minerals your muscles need to function properly. It's an overlooked cycle. The higher the stress, the lower the magnesium. The lower the magnesium, the worse the cramps. Add to that caffeine, alcohol, and sugar, which are all rampant in American diets, and you have a perfect storm for deficiency. It's one reason why magnesium glycinate or malate is recommended over magnesium oxide, because the absorption is superior, and it's easier on the gut, which is often irritated by high stress anyway. People under pressure need more magnesium than the standard daily recommended intake. They also need better timing. Magnesium taken at night, with food, and with some B6, dramatically increases the calming effect on muscles and nerves. Studies from Australia even show that athletes under intense training who supplement magnesium post-exercise recover faster and cramp less. Another overlooked aspect is hydration status. Not just water, but electrolytes. Sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium all work together in the right ratio to prevent muscle contractions from turning into spasms. Too much water without electrolytes? That dilutes the sodium in your bloodstream and causes hyponatremia, which leads to cramps. Too much sodium without enough potassium? You'll see tightness, rigidity, and nerve pain. A 32-year-old construction worker in Arizona suffered from quad cramps that locked his legs completely for several minutes. He was drinking over a gallon of water per day, but had no idea he was flushing out essential minerals. Once he switched to drinking water with sea salt and coconut water throughout the day and added a potassium-magnesium supplement at night, the cramping stopped in 3 days. The United States sees this constantly during hot months, especially in older individuals who think they're drinking enough but don't realize it's the electrolyte ratio that matters most. Another powerful nutrient that's starting to gain attention for cramp prevention is taurine, which isn't a vitamin but a conditionally essential amino acid. Taurine helps regulate calcium levels within the cell, and without it, muscles can stay contracted too long. That's the very mechanism behind a cramp. Studies conducted in Canada have shown taurine supplementation reducing muscle spasms in patients with diabetic neuropathy. Taurine also supports hydration by improving electrolyte balance in the cells. For people in the United States taking diuretics, which deplete potassium and magnesium, taurine offers added protection. One former athlete in Ohio who had recurring nighttime hamstring cramps found total relief when he added 1,000 milligrams of taurine with his evening meal. His magnesium and potassium were already optimized, but the cramps persisted until taurine was introduced. This shows how multiple factors, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, all come into play when the body is under stress or dysfunction. Many viewers ask why cramping seems to get worse with age, and the answer lies partly in reduced absorption of nutrients. As you get older, stomach acid production drops. That means even if you're eating healthy and taking vitamins, your gut might not be absorbing them well. Calcium, magnesium, and vitamin B12 require strong stomach acid to be absorbed efficiently. In the United Kingdom, where proton pump inhibitors are among the most commonly prescribed medications for acid reflux, thousands are unknowingly blocking nutrient absorption. A retired woman in Manchester was on omeprazole for over 5 years and suffered nightly foot cramps so intense she began avoiding bedtime. Her doctor never connected the cramps with nutrient deficiency caused by her medication. Once she tapered off the PPI and began taking magnesium glycinate and methylated B12, her symptoms gradually disappeared. The supplement industry in the United States is booming, but not all supplements are created equal. Many over-the-counter multivitamins use low-quality forms of B vitamins like cyanocobalamin for B12 or pyridoxine hydrochloride for B6, which are poorly absorbed and can even be toxic in high doses. For leg cramps, you need active, bioavailable forms: methylcobalamin for B12, P5P for B6, benfotiamine for B1, and riboflavin 5-phosphate for B2. Cheap forms can build up and cause toxicity, especially in people with liver conditions or MTHFR genetic mutations that affect methylation. A middle-aged woman from Illinois who was taking a cheap B-complex daily found her leg cramps worsening until she switched to a professional-grade formula with the correct forms. Within a week, she felt the difference, not only in cramp relief, but also in mental clarity and energy. Another major factor that causes persistent leg cramps is poor circulation, especially in people who sit or stand for long hours. Truck drivers in Texas, office workers in New York, and nurses in Florida all experience blood pooling in the lower limbs, which reduces oxygen and nutrient delivery to the muscles. This stasis increases the risk of cramping. That's where vitamin E and niacin come in again. Vitamin E helps thin the blood and keeps vessels flexible, while niacin causes capillary dilation, improving blood flow. Compression socks, walking breaks every hour, and elevating the legs can all help. But if the nutrients that support circulation are lacking, no amount of stretching or moving will fully resolve the issue. People describe the feeling as a deep tightness or knot in the calves that doesn't go away until they stand and walk. It's the muscles crying for blood flow and oxygen. Environmental toxins and heavy metals can also play a role in persistent cramping. Lead, mercury, and aluminum, commonly found in tap water, old pipes, some cosmetics, and even certain medications, interfere with calcium and magnesium channels in the muscle cells. In some parts of the United States, particularly older urban areas, people are unknowingly exposed to low levels of these metals daily. A man in Detroit with ongoing leg spasms despite good diet and supplements was found to have elevated lead levels. After starting a chelation protocol and increasing his intake of calcium, magnesium, and vitamin C, his muscle function began to improve. Heavy metals block the receptors that nutrients need to work, creating a hidden layer of dysfunction that most blood panels won't reveal unless specifically tested for. Vitamin C and selenium both support detoxification and can be added safely to most protocols to help clear metals and protect nerve tissue. One more rarely discussed, but absolutely critical nutrient is choline, which is essential for the production of acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that signals muscles to contract and release. Without enough choline, especially in older adults, nerve signaling becomes sluggish and erratic. This can cause delayed relaxation in the muscles, resulting in spasms or tremors. Choline is found in eggs, beef liver, and lecithin, but again, the American diet tends to fall short, especially among people avoiding cholesterol-rich foods. Women in particular often don't get enough choline, especially during pregnancy or menopause. Supplementing with alpha-GPC or CDP choline has shown promise in reducing nerve-related muscle pain and fatigue. A 59-year-old teacher in North Carolina began using choline supplements along with B vitamins and magnesium after developing painful thigh cramps every evening after work. Her improvement was dramatic, and she described the relief as feeling like my muscles could finally breathe again. Injuries, even old ones, can lead to muscle cramping if the tissue wasn't properly healed. Scarred or tight fascia can restrict blood flow and nutrient delivery. In these cases, vitamin C and zinc become essential for tissue repair. Collagen production relies heavily on vitamin C, and a deficiency can result in poor healing and increased muscle tightness. Zinc also supports cell division and repair, and a deficiency slows down every aspect of recovery. In Australia, where sports-related injuries are common due to high levels of outdoor activity, therapists often recommend high-dose vitamin C and zinc post-injury to support tissue remodeling. These nutrients not only heal, but they also prevent compensatory cramping in surrounding muscles. The complexity of leg cramps means that no single nutrient is ever the answer. It's always a combination of factors: stress, hydration, circulation, absorption, nerve health, and sometimes even hidden infections or autoimmune responses. Yet in the United States, most conventional doctors still focus on prescribing muscle relaxers or painkillers without addressing root causes. That's why people suffer for years, trying every cream, every stretch, every hot bath, with little relief. But when they finally start supporting the body with the right vitamins and minerals in the correct forms and doses, the results can be transformative.